Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to encourage you to examine how others perceive you. Today, I'm kind of dressed up a little bit. I've got to give a presentation a little later about business stuff, and just need people to see me for the first time and perceive that I've got a little bit of authority and a little bit of knowledge in the topics that I'm going to be discussing. So I have to forego my preferred Hawaiian shirts and jeans and t-shirt and kind of look the part. We'll cover that more at a different time. But today, I have been watching recently on Hulu a series that they've put out called The Handmaid's Tale. This is based on a book from 1985 by an author named Margaret Atwood, and it is kind of a not really science fiction, more of a social fiction, alternate reality, possible future type show. It is not for kids, that is for sure. It's a little over the top with the sex and definitely with the violence. But this show is interesting in the way that it is based almost entirely on how the left perceives a possible future could be dictated by the right in this country. So today I'm strongly encouraging you to take a look at how others perceive you, because there are dozens, if not more, articles online about this show being a possible future under a president of the United States that wishes to establish a theocracy. The premise of the show is that there is, in the future, pollution renders most of society sterile, specifically women, although it later pans out that many of the men are probably sterile also. And the government in the United States is overthrown, and it's taken over by a theocratic batch of religious zealots that proceed to kidnap fertile women and basically rape them to be able to repopulate the country. It's a horrific story. I don't see how it could ever be possible in this country, but that does not mean that there are not those out there that don't see it as a possible future. Unfortunately, the day in which we live, people seem more polarized than ever. The right people have cemented their feet to their opinions based on the right side of the political aisle, and the left is undergoing severe bouts of disbelief that the election went the way that they thought it would never ever go, and that people are in control of things that they are equating to Nazis. So that gives credence to a fictional story like this, and makes it easier for them to envision a possible future with awful things taking place in the name of religion. As Christians, we want to be very careful about how we put ourselves out there. We do not want people to equate us with characters in stories that they may see, or to be that guy on the internet that everybody argues with, that they could envision being in charge in a society like is portrayed in this story. This is just one of those things where you want to make sure that you're actually out there showing the love of Christ. You don't want to be dictating terms to people, condemning them, criticizing them, judging, complaining constantly about awful things that you see that are going on. It's not that you should stay silent by any means, but know the time and the place for things, and consider your words carefully, and definitely consider the way you act. I mean, you're representing the savior of everyone, not just yourself and not just a certain political party. Just be very, very careful that you're not out there stomping on people's feelings and turning them away from salvation, because this is ultimately your responsibility, and it's something that you should take very, very seriously. I'm kind of going unscripted this morning, so I apologize for all the ums and ahs, but this show's kind of blown my mind a little bit. It was a movie back in 1990, I believe, with Natasha Richardson, Liam Neeson's wife, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me then. It was condensed into too short of a form, really, and the script was kind of haphazard. The series is done much better, and while it is a good story, and I'm a fan of good stories, it is horrifying. I would consider it more of a horror film than a lot of the garbage that's been put out over the last few years that people consider horror films, that are full of jump scares and things like this. It makes you think, and it makes you sympathize, but it covers pretty heavy topics, rape, murder, revolution, homosexuality, other things that, frankly, the enemy uses to drive wedges between ourselves and those that we should be reaching with the message. So, if you like grown-up entertainment, you could watch it. I'm not recommending it to anybody necessarily. I'm watching it because I wanted to see a glimpse of the lens that we are viewed through by some of these people. The author is Canadian and is part of a humanist couple that has done a lot of work in society and has put out a lot of literature, and they're fairly influential and fairly wealthy off of the stories they've told and the poetry they've written and the work they've done. So it's hard to counter intellectuals like this and the effects that they have on society if you just go out there and start bashing people and criticizing them. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Be compassionate, try to be understanding, and examine the way people perceive you, because it's important. You need to not be a fire and brimstone Bible thumper when you're encountering people that are coming from the completely opposite end of the spectrum. So with that, I would just encourage you to take a look at yourself, take a look at the way you act, and make adjustments appropriately, and definitely keep studying and learning and figure out how to interact with people on an appropriate level, so that you've got people that want to know what you're all about and actually seek you out, or seek out, more importantly, the kingdom, instead of just continuing to live their lives in a state of constantly being influenced by the media. We'll put it that way. Thank you for your time today. I'd also encourage you to check out the website at www.5minutedisciple.net. Still got a contest going on there for an iPad mini Wi-Fi 2, and the way you can get hooked up with that and a chance to win that is to check out the post on, ironically enough, with this topic today, sex and hookers. Information's in there, and just take a look at it and get registered and see if you can get a chance to win this. Be blessed, my friends. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the weather while it lasts, and hopefully everything's peaceful for you today and you're super productive. Thanks.